I have always believed that my life was devoted to God and His service. I spent years as a priest, guiding my community, offering comfort, and preaching hope. I thought I had lived a life free of hidden sins, that my faith and good deeds would protect me from any harm. One rainy night, while driving to a parish retreat, fate took a sudden turn. My car skidded on a slick road and crashed in an instant. In the midst of the chaos, as metal groaned and glass shattered around me, I felt an unusual calm take over my body. I remember a sensation of detachment, as though I were floating above my own shattered form. It was then that I realized I was no longer in the familiar world of life. I found myself in a realm that was neither dark nor light, a place where the air itself seemed heavy with sorrow. There was an eerie mix of shadow and flickering flames, and all around me came the distant sounds of crying and anguished whispers. I soon understood that I had crossed into a realm far removed from the comforting presence of God's light, a place that I would later recognize as hell. I could hardly believe my eyes when I saw other priests, nuns, and even bishops wandering in misery. Their faces, once filled with hope and conviction, now contorted with despair. It was a shocking revelation. Those whom I had admired and trusted in their divine roles were suffering for their own hidden transgressions. As I wandered through this strange, tormenting landscape, I struggled to comprehend the irony of it all. I recalled many moments from my life when I had preached love and forgiveness, yet I began to see that not all of us had practiced what we preached. I witnessed a priest I once respected, now hunched over in regret, mumbling apologies to unseen forces. He spoke of how he had twisted God's words for personal gain, and how his pride had blinded him to the needs of his flock. In another corner of that dark expanse, I saw a nun with tears streaming down her face as she lamented over lost opportunities to show kindness and mercy. Their voices mingled with the echoing cries of the damned, and with each step I took, the weight of my own doubts and past mistakes grew heavier. I began to question everything I had ever believed about righteousness and salvation. Had I been too complacent in my faith? Had I allowed my own pride to cloud the true essence of my calling? I recalled moments when I had been quick to judge, when I had dismissed the suffering of those who came to me in need. I realized that in my dedication to my role, I had sometimes forgotten that I was only human, susceptible to error and failing in my duty to love unconditionally. The pain and regret I saw in the eyes of my fellow souls were a mirror reflecting my own hidden faults. As I continued to traverse that desolate landscape, I came upon a vast chasm of darkness, its depths echoing with cries of endless torment. At its edge, a calm and steady voice suddenly broke through the oppressive silence. "Many shepherds will fall because they serve themselves, not me," it said. The words struck me like a bolt of lightning. In that moment, I knew the voice was not meant to condemn, but to warn. It revealed that the very people entrusted with guiding others were at risk of losing their way because they had allowed their own egos and ambitions to override their duty of care. Tears streamed down my face as memories of my own life played out before me like a painful slideshow. I recalled the many times I had been too busy to truly listen, the moments when I had chosen convenience over compassion. I remembered a time when a desperate parishioner had come to me with pleas for help, only to be met with hurried words and empty promises. The memory of that day was seared into my mind, and I felt a deep, gnawing regret for every instance in which I had failed to live up to the ideals I had preached. In the midst of this inner turmoil, a radiant figure slowly emerged from the flickering flame mesa, being whose presence radiated warmth and light, starkly contrasting the darkness around me. The figure moved gracefully toward me, and in that approach, I felt a surge of hope mixed with an overwhelming sense of responsibility. The being's eyes, filled with both kindness and sorrow, seemed to look deep into the core of my soul. I could sense that this was an angel of mercy, sent to offer guidance and a chance at redemption. I asked in a trembling voice, "Who are you, and why have you brought me here?" The angel's reply was soft yet firm. "I am here to show you the truth of your life. You have been given a position of honor, but with it comes great responsibility. You must look into your heart and see the ways in which you have strayed from true compassion. It is not enough to preach love. You must live it in every action." His words resonated deeply within me, stirring emotions I had long suppressed. I felt the full burden of my shortcomings, the times when my pride had overshadowed my duty, the moments when I had allowed the pressures of leadership to isolate me from those who needed comfort. The angel continued, "Redemption is always possible, but it demands true remorse and a willingness to change. Reflect on every act of neglect, every harsh word, every instance where you put your own needs above the call to serve. Only then can you hope to break free from the chains of regret." His words, though painful, were a clarion call to look honestly at my life and to accept that even those who serve the divine are not immune to faltering. The journey through that dark realm felt endless. I walked on, burdened by the weight of my memories and the stark revelations of my hidden sins. Each step was a lesson, a reminder of how small acts of indifference and pride could accumulate into a life of profound regret. I encountered many souls along the way, other religious leaders, ordinary people, and even strangers whose lives had been marred by choices made in moments of weakness. Their suffering was not simply a punishment, but a reflection of the human condition when disconnected from the true essence of love and humility. As I moved further, the angel's presence stayed with me, urging me to face the pain of my past. I spent what felt like an eternity in that state, overwhelmed by a mixture of sorrow and hope. I began to understand that the path to redemption was not lined with grand gestures, but with the willingness to acknowledge even the smallest failings. I learned that every act of kindness, no matter how insignificant it may seem, could be a step toward healing the broken parts of my soul. At the same time, I realized that ignoring the cries of those in need could lead to an eternity of regret. I remember standing before a vast, dark pita chasm that seemed to swallow all light and feeling, as though I was at the very edge of oblivion. The angel spoke one final time. "You have been given this vision so that you may understand the consequences of neglecting your sacred duty. Let this experience transform you. When you return to your life, remember that every moment counts. Serve others with the humility and love that comes from a true connection to the divine." Those words echoed in my heart as I felt a powerful force tugging me back, pulling me away from the despair and darkness. In a flash of blinding light, I awoke in a hospital bed, surrounded by worried faces and gentle reassurances. The memory of that night, of the dark realm and the angel's words, was still vivid in my mind. I knew then that my life had been irrevocably changed. I had been given a second chance, a chance to mend the gaps in my soul and to serve my community with renewed dedication. The experience taught me that salvation was not a guarantee for those who assumed their righteousness, but a continuous journey of humility, repentance, and genuine love. Since that night, I have made every effort to listen more carefully, to act more kindly, and to ensure that my faith is reflected in every word and deed. I share my story with anyone willing to listen, not to spread fear, but to offer a glimpse into the reality of our choices and their consequences. I speak of that dark place, of the suffering souls and the angel's warning, in the hope that others will learn from my mistakes. I urge everyone to examine their hearts, to recognize that even those who seem devoted may harbor secrets that can lead them astray, if not confronted. My experience has been a painful yet profound lesson in the true meaning of compassion and the responsibility that comes with leadership. Every day, I strive to live in a way that honors the second chance I was given. I have come to understand that life is fragile and that every moment offers an opportunity to be better, to love more deeply, and to serve more selflessly. The memory of that terrifying journey through darkness reminds me that true redemption lies not in the perfection of our actions, but in our willingness to change and to seek forgiveness for our shortcomings. I am now committed to a path of constant self-reflection and improvement, aware that my actions affect not only my own soul, but also the lives of those I serve. I know now that pride and complacency can lead even the most devoted astray, and that a heart burdened by selfishness can quickly become lost in the shadows. My journey has taught me that every soul, no matter how righteous it may appear, must continually work to align its actions with the true spirit of love and humility. I live each day with the memory of that dark place guiding me, a reminder that our choices define our destiny, and that redemption is always within reach if we are willing to face our inner demons. I have been forever changed by that night, and I carry the lessons of my experience into every interaction, every sermon, and every moment of prayer. I pray that my story will encourage others to look beyond outward appearances and to strive for true compassion in all they do.